Welcome to the Deal Champ Summit. I'm your special guest. No Topo Chico today, but I got Joy Burst. Dean, you'd love it. It's got nootropics, hydration, electrolytes, vitamins, and it's good for your gut, Jason, like we were talking about earlier.
That's good.
These are the ones. Dean probably thinks it gives you cancer. But
nootropics. See, now we're trying to alter our mind and stuff like that. What are we doing here?
Oh, yes, nootropics. I take nootropics. I think they work. But my name is Stratton Brown. I made my first business around. I made my first win in business around 25, 26. We scaled 2 different companies to 7 figures. We have a 7-figure rental portfolio. We have the master of hair, Mr. Jason Pritchard.
Hair's out today, boys. I have one little piece right here that's like not agreeing with me, and it's like a little thing right now that's just
more pomade. More pomade.
Well, I didn't have enough when I was doing this little piece right here, and now I can't stop looking at it. What's up, everybody? It's your other co-host, Jason Pritchard. Backstory on me is I worked in corporate America for 15 years. Hated my job, was unhappy with my life. We burned all the boats in 2014. Have not looked back since. We have completed 550 plus deals. We've got a $17 million real estate portfolio, now starting to do some large land development projects. And like we always say on this pod is we want to take all of our learning experiences, condense them, and pass them on to you guys so you can learn from our mistakes and get to where you want to go as fast as possible.
And we have the Captain America, Mr. Healthy. He got on Jason the other day because Jason doesn't eat right, honestly.
I had to send him some new protein bars.
Bro, he had to get on him. Like,
they weren't
really
acceptable.
He really guilted me, bro. I was like, I left that conversation with Dean questioning all of my food choices and everything. I was like, man, dude, I'm fucking up big time.
I mean, where do you get your eggs, Jason? Where do you get your eggs?
I'll have an offline conversation with you, so Dean doesn't. Try to give me a lecture right now.
All right, Mr. Captain America. I'm sorry for interrupting you.
That's all right. What's up, guys? Dean Rogers, your other co-host here. Started my career in the NFL, then transitioned to corporate, then into real estate. Been investing in real estate over a decade now in Central California. Done 750 plus deals, 8-figure rental portfolio. And you guys can always connect with me at deanrogers.com.
All right, boys. What was your biggest takeaway from the Deal Champ Summit? Favorite part?
Well, first of all, you said welcome to the Deal Champ Summit. We're on the.
You
Deal
did.
Champ
You started
podcast.
it.
Did I really?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. You weren't thinking straight. You didn't have your Topo Chico, dude.
Those nootropics aren't working, bro.
The nootropics aren't working, bro.
They're not.
Swap it out, dude. You need more bubbles.
All right. Biggest takeaway overall and favorite part of the summit.
Favorite part of the summit for me is always connecting with everybody, bro. I just get such a charge and sense of fulfillment from connecting with all the attendees, hearing all the cool stories about how the 3 of us and our community has had an impact on everybody. An extra bonus for getting to meet some really cool people. Trevor, Dolph DeRoos, who was like the sleeper hit, I feel like, of the summit, dude. I had we may have to bring Dolph back for round 2, dude. I had so many people. Right? I had so many people tell me that Dolph was their favorite speaker. So I feel like just the vibe and getting to meet a bunch of really cool people, both that we help and that can help us grow and learn, dude, was pretty awesome. What about you, Dino?
So without saying the exact same things that Jason said, because I agree with most of those things. That's how I feel too. Just getting the energy from the people. The room is electric. And I can say with confidence at this point, just based on other people's feedback alone, not our own opinion, that Deal Champ Summit is like the premier event in the nation. Just the quality of the speakers, the sponsors, the way the event flows. That to me is the best part, I'll say, for Deal Champ Summit this year is just the overwhelming amount of feedback. Last year, we had insane feedback. That was our first Deal Champ Summit we ever did. The feedback was overwhelming. We crushed it. But this year, people were like, dude, you guys are on another level. Last year was cool and all, but like this is crazy. And to say that just 3 guys and no doubt the help of others around us put this event together, and this is This is not our backgrounds. We're not event planners. We're not any of that stuff. We're just insanely passionate about putting together the highest quality event we possibly can with our skills and knowledge we have. We put together a damn good event, and is really exciting for what the future has to bring. So the feedback strat, I'll say, is the best part of the event. And it wasn't just feedback from attendees, which is your number one customer right there. They're the ones that are showing up, they're buying a ticket, they're coming, they're spending their time and effort. They want to see the value. That right there was already overwhelming. But to hear speakers and sponsors who do this for a living, speak at events, sponsor events, and say this was hands down the best event they've ever been to, that's a really cool feeling too.
Well, I love that aspect. We got to give a shout out to the dictator. I don't know if she's watching or not, but we couldn't have put together the back
Check
end.
my live really quick. Let me see if she's not on here yet. I'll have to tell
She's
her
not
later.
on here
Shout
yet.
out to Jen Pritchard.
Shout out to Jen Pritchard, the dictator, bro.
She did.
Yeah.
I think the best call was upgrading the screen in the back. That was one of the best audibles that we made. That was screen in the background was dope, bro. Yeah.
Bro. My favorite part is we have like these same moments every year. 2 years in a row, guys. We've sat in the same spot at Table Mountain in the hallway, and we've gone over a rough budget, and then everybody's assholes pucker. And like, are we gonna lose $30,000 putting this thing on? It's happened both years. I don't know if it happened the years before that, but I was like, oh my God, we got to sell this many more tickets. And all the people showed up. So I thought that was awesome. I love what we did for the speakers. I thought was amazing. Like that aspect of it, I thought was super dope. Everybody was like, bro, I can't believe you guys got them all custom shoes. And that's like random people who I'd see after the event. And then my favorite moment was when we were underestimating Dolph. And Dolph hadn't gotten us the slides yet. And like Dolph's like, hey, bro, don't worry, I'll get them to you. Do you have PowerPoint or whatnot? Like, oh no, we don't have PowerPoint. Like, no, it's like Google Slides, Dolph. Like, you should know this. And Dolph's like, okay, whatever, I'll get it to Dean. He gets it to Dean like 30 minutes before speaking, right? Like, it was like pretty close before him going on stage.
Do you remember that thing was at least 175 slides?
Bro,
and we had to tell Dolph
slides
at the beginning, it's like, bro, like we're such on a tight schedule. I think we've got 25 minutes or 30 minutes max for you. And we were all doing the math in our head in the back. And I think he had 30 seconds like per slide. You know what I mean? And all of us were like, I don't know, dude, if this is going to do it. And like an absolute pro, the man absolutely went out there and crushed slayed it, dude. Had him eating.
He ended like seconds before too. It was
bro,
like
I mean, like, of course, the guy's been on 1,000 stages and absolutely freaking crushed it. But it was just hilarious in the background. I think we're all like, there's like all of these slides. There's no way he's doing this in 30 minutes, and the man destroyed it, dude.
So his PowerPoint was half a gigabyte. It was 500 megabits large, and I had to break it into 12 different downloads just to get it into Google Slides. It was a fun adventure.
That was the funniest moment because I remember all of us just straight up panicking, like, "Hey, Dolph, you're gonna have to cut these down." Yeah. And then, like the pro that he is, he's like, "Hey, don't worry, I got it." And he goes up there, absolutely crushes.
Crushed it.
He controlled the entire audience the whole time, gets them into it like it was a master class on how to publicly speak.
And he sold me a little bonus story. He sold me. I bought one of his like CD classes off Amazon for like $120, bro. In the background, I just got it delivered into my house the other day, and so CDs? I was just talking to him. I was like, dude, this is so cool. He's like, where can I find some of your stuff? And we found one on Amazon, and I paid like $125 to have this. I don't even have a CD player at my house, but I'm going to figure out a way to listen to Dolph's OG content back from the late 90s, dude, on CD, dude. It was pretty cool.
That's legit.
Masterclass. And that was the Dolph slide stuff. And then Dolph was my favorite. I think that was.
So we could easily have him back because he has so much stuff that he can talk about. His major talking point was how to think differently and really open up your mind, which I've heard him give that speech before in a mastermind that we're in. And just hearing the guy talk just gets you excited. Just gets you excited about what's possible, how to think differently. But he could go into like any topic and go deep into it. I mean, the dude's doing international commercial investing, international commercial investing. He just pops into countries and invests. He has like prime ministers and like other different high government officials that will fly him in to help them solve problems or to work on projects. And like the stuff he was telling me just on the bus ride to the VIP after party, he was telling me like a James Bond story. Like there's certain information I can tell you and certain information I just can't tell you, but here's what I can tell you. And like just some of the craziest, coolest stuff. Unbelievable.
My favorite aspect about him is that you'd swear he has a flip phone. We couldn't get a hold of him for weeks before the event because he was off of a random island in Spain. Like that's how I'd want to be when I'm that old. It was in Italy.
Italy, yeah. He calls me off of when he's in some random island in Italy. I had to Google it, and he's like, "Oh yeah," and he was just like, "Well, what do you want me to talk about?" And just the funniest thing. I'm like, "Well, dude, we need your slides." Oh, I'll get those to you. Don't worry.
They'll be there. Don't you worry.
Shout out to Dolph.
Shout out to Dolph. That was my favorite aspect. All right, let's break down. Let's go tariffs first, then the development deal. Are you guys seeing any slowdown in the market? Or like increase in your this would really be more a Jason question, increase in your flips in overall rehabs over the last few months?
We are with certain properties. We have a couple properties, and it isn't necessarily a market thing, in my opinion. Like our buy box and like where we like to play as far as flips is like at and below the median price point. It's safe there. We talk about that a lot. Those are investments that are easy to wholesale. They're easy to flip. You're not competing against new construction. So the vast majority of our stuff, honestly, is selling pretty quickly. It's interesting right now. I see a lot of this on social media. You guys probably do too with people that we follow. Like it's becoming a buyer's market and it's shifting and inventory is growing, and we keep pretty close eye on the inventory, and inventory is increasing, but I'd say 85% of our deals are selling without issue. We had a couple flips go on the market over the last 30 days. Both of them, we accepted full price offers within a week of them being on, or maybe 10 days max, dude. So the appetite for the right type of property is still there, dude. We don't see a lot of stuff. It's like sitting. And I'd say with a lot of our coaching students, we're seeing the same thing too. A lot of their stuff is moving. You can't get crazy with price. So you can't shoot for the stars with price, and you can't hold out for an offer that's not going to come. But
we're shooting for the stars.
The stuff is moving.
Dean turned down one of my houses because he said he'd lose money. Edward.
Oh, on your wholesale deal?
Yeah, on that. Yeah. What a piece of shit.
What kind of? So this is actually a really good question. We've wholesaleed a lot less this year. What's been the activity level on that? Because we
fucking
found that
zero. Zilch. It has sense. Like the product isn't good enough, and it's by a freeway, I'd say, is like the biggest thing. And so we're gonna have to go back. This is just an ovation. We're gonna have to go back and renegotiate with the seller. But we're like, hey, we can take a stab at this for you. Whenever we get in a situation where it's super tight, I'm like, hey, bro, we'll see if we can make some money. If this is the number you need, we'll see like if we can make this happen. But they were super transparent with it on the front end. Like, if this is what you want and there's no negotiating, you've gone to 5 other dudes that can't solve your problem. Yeah. You would be at that same price. Here's what we can try and do for you, and we can see if we can take a stab at it. And if we can make some money, you can make some money. Awesome. But we've had probably 3 to 4 showings. One person was in it and then they didn't like it. If you did do it, I think ARV, like Lewis said, is probably like 340 to 360.
And what do you guys have it listed at?
We have it at like 320 now.
Yeah, you're too high, dude. You need to be at like 280 or 270 or something like that, dude, in order to make something like that work.
We'll go back, renegotiate with him, and we'll have to be at like 250. But he has I'll tell you guys about this offline, but there's $1 million bail bonds lien on this, and you guys should see the fucking rap sheet on this thing. It's insane.
Oh, on the title? Oh my God.
Like insane, like an insane rap sheet. But I mean, with that though, that was more so like shooting for the stars and like taking a stab at it with something like that, to where typically I think we were at like if we're at 260, we could move this all day. Yeah. Typically is what it looked like to me. But I mean, that just is what it is. Our Florida stuff, we have one that's been on the market for like 90 days, and we finally got an offer. $40,000 less than what we had. had to go back to the seller, but we got gouged by new construction in the same area. Another house came on the market in the same neighborhood with a shop and a redone kitchen. And this was another like Novation hotel. To our same thing, like, hey guys, we just had someone essentially cut our knees out from under us. There's only one option. Since we're on the market, you guys could go to all the cash buyers you'd want to. They're going to tell you the same thing, and this is probably the price you're going to have to be at.
Yeah, dude. With our flips, especially the stuff that's moving, we have to be competitively priced, look better, right? And just overall have a better quality product at or below where everything else is at. And that's what's moving. And that's all. You have to be able to have enough margin in your deal to be able to price it that way. So you've got to go back and buy it right. And you can't like expect some crazy offer. Dean, are you guys flipping anything? Or is it just all wholesale right now? You have anything that you're getting ready to put on the market?
Yeah, we've got a handful of different flips that we've recently put on the market. We have a couple different wholesales that we've put on the market. And we have some rentals that we're capturing some equity to stack some chips for some bigger and better opportunities. So my take on that on the market is compared to a few years ago, it's not as fast, right? A few years ago was totally different, hard to compare, was kind of in all of our real estate journeys, kind of one of those little peak spike times, right? I would say the market in general right now doesn't feel hot, and it doesn't feel quite like it's a buyer's market. But I'm seeing signs of a buyer's market that I saw when I first got started. When I first got started and was flipping houses in the 2014, 2015 timeframe, when I was starting to flip houses, that's when any property that we brought to the market, it would take sometimes 30 days to get an offer. And usually that offer would come with a request for us to pay their closing costs. Okay. So some of the flips that we just put on the market sold in a reasonable couple week period of time, but had some closing costs requests. Okay. The wholesale deals that we have, it feels like the buyers are trying to get a deal. And these are wholesale deals that are not fixed up, right? They're outdated properties. Yeah. We're trying to get retail price for these markets, these properties that were essentially off-market deals. It feels like the buyers are trying to get a deal on those. And
when you say that, are they like really trying to gouge you, or is it like 5% less?
Some, yeah. I mean, when you look at the mix of offers, there's some that are trying to gouge, some that are just trying to get a deal, right? Trying to get a little bit less. So it feels like a market where there's some give and take right now.
I've got Lilith chimed in. Lilith Gregorian, she's an agent and investor here in Fresno. She chimed in on my IG chat, said, I think it depends on the house, the condition, the location. I'm writing offers under 400K and there are multiple offers. And that's about what we're seeing too on all of our flips that are below 400K. We're getting lots of showings, lots of like activity, usually one or two offers. It's not crazy frenzy. But honestly, dude, like what you were saying, like that wait for 30 days, then maybe an offer comes, maybe there's a credit or that's like normal. That's what I feel like a normal market was like, dude. Like that's not even necessarily an indicator of a buyer's market. I think it's just a like, you know, we're kind of getting back to normalcy. So we'll see. Yeah. I'm curious. I want to get your guys' opinion on this because this is the deal that we have right now that sucks. I bought a mobile home in Bakersfield, which I should have never done. I paid 60 grand for it. And we looked at it and I was like, this thing's worth like 135, 145 fixed up, or we could just sell it as is. I paid cash. I put like 20 grand of my own cash into it. So I'm all in it for 80. Had it listed for 145, literally like not one phone call. Waited 30 days, dropped 10 grand, literally nothing. Now we're getting ready to drop again. What do you think we do? Do we just keep chasing the market down like in $10,000 increments and just wait? Do we fire sell it and take because I feel if we do a big $20,000 reduction, it looks very obvious like that we're trying to like offload it. But I don't want to be waiting around for nothing for something that isn't going to come.
I don't flip a lot, but I would much rather just get it the fuck off my books when it's like
Yeah, that's
that
kind of
far away to where it's so, yes, I am fire selling this. I'd like to get out of the asset. You could get the deal of a lifetime. I'm not going to make any money. And the peace of mind from me not making money to me feels better. That's how I kind of treat those things. I don't know about you or what you guys flip more than I do. But when I'm
Yeah.
in those situations, I'd like to get it off my books.
I need to sell it for like 100 really is about break even for me, maybe a little bit lower. So I'm at 125 right now. So I
Someone's
have
going to
some
get
room
the
to
hell
come
of a
down.
deal. Someone's going to get a hell of a deal.
And God bless her heart, the park manager, Mary, calls me all the time. I don't know how Mary got my phone number, but Mary likes to call me and say, the grass isn't cut, Jason. We didn't paint the outside of the house the right way. I don't know where. I don't. Mary, if you're listening, Mary, I love you, and I don't mind the call, but you got to call Cade and not me. Your stuff will get answered probably quicker. So shout out to Mary at
What's your
the
thought,
mobile
Dean?
home park.
So mobile homes are tricky. It's either you got the right park, the right product, the right timing of when someone needs something. We've done pretty well on mobile homes. Not that it's been our main course of business, but when we have a deal come through, we've done pretty well with either wholesaling them or buying and flipping them. And some we've kept as rentals as well in the right area. So I think that in itself, I mean, did you feel it was a grand slam, like no brainer? The numbers were all there.
I wouldn't call it a grand slam, but it felt like it passed the sniff test for sure. I was like, okay, this is a deal. And we had a bunch of cash. So I was like, I don't even need to like, raise any money or do anything. It's cheap enough where we'll dump 60 grand into it to buy it, another 20 grand to dress it up. You know what I mean? And I was like, oh, we'll get in and out of here and make 35, 40 grand. I thought it was a really solid deal, low maintenance, low risk. And it's just been nothing. Literally not one person has.
You don't think it was like a lack of discipline? Like I've been thinking about this more of like when I'm making decisions, like was I actually taking a reach and I didn't stick to what I know, like how we're talking about like our deal champ stuff. Is this in the ring that I know is going to fit in everything that I want to do? And
it's interesting. That's a good question. I mean, we were in a spot where, and you guys can probably speak to this too. Like, I remember when I signed that contract, it was, we were in a spot where we were signing a lot of contracts. Like we're having like one of those months where I think we had like 15 or 16. So it was right in the midst of like all of that
momentum's carrying you.
Yeah. So I was like, damn, dude, here's another one, bro. Like, let's look at it. I don't think we were undisciplined in our underwriting. I think we underwrote the deal well. I just think for some reason, like we missed the mark on something, and I don't know what it was, but we definitely missed the mark on something. And now, at the end of the day, like we'll sell it. Even if we break even, we lose a few bucks. It's not the end of the world for me, but it's always a good learning experience to talk through these things. It's not a park that I know, not an area that I know, because we don't flip a ton in Bakersfield. We mainly wholesale in Bakersfield, but we've done okay on the wholesale, similar to Dean. We don't do a ton of them, but the ones we've done that we've either assigned or like I've closed on them and turned around and resold, we've done them. And in my head, I'm like, dude, this is cheap. This is cheaper than any house that you can buy on the market. You know what I mean? And
that's true.
We missed something.
Do you guys wholesale a lot of them? Go ahead, Dino.
I was just gonna say those kind of deals are never fun when they don't go as you hoped or planned. But those have been example, like whenever I've had that happen, it just helps me like recalibrate my buy box and to be a little bit more confident and let someone else who's confident in that area, right? Let them take a whack at it. You might be leaving some money on the table in some instances, but just your ability to sleep well at night, put your effort and energy towards what you are best and great at, and just double down on that, I feel like is what helped me keep the shiny objects out of the way, you know?
Yeah, I agree.
With us, if it's ever something that's like a kind of, I don't want to say speculative deal or speculative asset, but like a mobile home, I know only a certain amount of people want to even take it on. So we'll be significantly more aggressive when we're like in negotiations. Does that go through your guys' minds? Because I've tried to wholesale mobile homes and I have to be so damn low in order to make money that's worth the time and effort of putting it into the deal. Like, do you guys think that way with the mobile homes?
I
For sure.
definitely think that way when it's an asset class or just a deal where, I know it's going to be some unknowns and I maybe know that there's going to be a heavy lift. So instead of being aggressive, I'm going to buy it at a number where that lift is going to be worthwhile to me, from a financial ROI standpoint. So I think
Mhm.
we're saying the same thing. You know what I'm saying? It's like, if I'm going to do this, the money's
This
got
is
to
gonna
make
be worth
sense.
it.
And so I do it
Yeah.
at this price. You know what I'm saying? Because I know
Exactly.
what comes what comes on the other side of all of this stuff. Cause I've done it plenty of times where I've gotten aggressive on it. I was like, dude, that wasn't worth it. So yeah.
All right. Did we have anything else on how tariffs are hurting the market? Have you guys rehab prices? That's what I wanted to know. Have you guys had any bids go up? Like seeing a
We're in
steady
a
creep?
pretty good spot with the contractor that we're using right now. We've got a great system, a great routine. We do a really good job. Shout out to Scott and Scott's really, and K2 are the ones that are overseeing this stuff on our team, but they really do a good job of making sure that, I would say for sure 100% the rehab prices have gone up. There's no question about that. And they've been on an upward trend over the last few years. I think, I haven't personally seen, because there's a delayed feedback loop with this type of stuff, bro. We buy a house right now, we start working on it now. I track and manage my finances on our flips probably better than 99% of people, as far as checking on them consistently all the time, really good finger on the pulse. And there's still a delay even with me, right?
Yeah.
So I think for sure the stuff is going to be more expensive. But what's really good about the what we've got and the rapport that we have with our contractor is we're baking a lot of that into our acquisitions costs. So we're just projecting a little bit of a higher cost going into it. And it just makes it more palatable, because I've done it the other way, dude, where, we sit down with a contractor and they're like, yeah, dude, I can do it for X. And it's never X, dude. That's like what most new people don't know. Like, they take the numbers face value from two different contractors. And they typically, and I ask me how I know, because I used to do this for years, dude. I will always go with the cheaper one. And you either pay for that in actual financial cost at the end of the project, or
Okay.
you pay for it because you got to babysit everybody. You've got to chase people down to go do stuff. The quality control is all over the place. There's all kinds of missed repairs and things that come up on the repair request that you're going to just end up giving a credit for, have to go back and fix again later on, dude. So you're better off, in my opinion, finding somebody that you've got that good rapport with. But 100% rehab prices have gone up, bro. There's no other way around it. I mean, it just is what it is. I think we shared this on the last pod that we did with, what's his name? Levi, your builder buddy from Utah?
Montana.
Mhm.
From Montana.
Yeah.
Like we're doing that spec house here, and we bought all the lumber for the framing, and the prices has shot up. You could see the prices on the commodities chart from like where it was back in October when it was pretty low
Yeah.
to when we bought it. I mean, that added like I think $18,000 to the cost of the
Jesus.
material that we bought just in the lumber, bro. So there's like real world examples of that actually having an impact for sure.
Yeah, I would agree with Jason. I'd say there's just been an upward trend in expenses for all the costs to do a project. We're talking AC, roof, windows, flooring, all that kind of stuff. I think everything's been up. I won't say there's been a spike, let alone I'm not the one that's in the weeds on our rehabs. My partner Lewis is, so he'd have a better pulse. But in terms of what we talk about, he hasn't like, been screaming, "Hey, oh man, we gotta be careful or stop doing flips or anything like that." So, I haven't heard or seen any spikes on that. And then, just in terms of tariffs and how it's affected, I think the economy as a whole has just been kind of, I keep saying stuck. It just feels like it's
Yeah.
been kind of stuck. I feel like people are holding on to their pockets a little bit more. I think we're coming out of a market that there was a lot of money flowing, and now people are kind of like either dried up on their money, or people are just a little bit more cautious about their money. And the fact that interest rates are in the news are higher, right, than typical. We've experienced with historical low interest rates has got people a little hesitant. And I think affordability as a whole has been tough for the market and for people. So, I was just talking with one of my buddies here in town yesterday, and he was saying how, he bought his house when he first bought his first house. This probably was had to have been probably 8 years ago. Bought it for like 192,000 in a track home. He's like, that house is now going for 800,000. So when you just use examples of like how things have changed over the past decade, I think we're at a point in the market where it just feels a little stuck. We either need like interest rates to come down, more money to flood the market, a more free economy to just get a ripping and roaring market. But I feel like it's pretty healthy. It's pretty stable right now.
I do think all that volatility in stock and equities markets, like that does have an impact, dude. When you see
Even though it doesn't
like a
affect actual
bloodbath
people,
in your
it's just
401k, yeah, you're like, oh shit, maybe we should hold on. You know what I'm saying? I think just naturally it's going to give a little bit of pause. Everything that I thought Dean said was spot on. I would agree with all of that. I think, what can you do? So like, here's the answer, right? Because like somebody, J Corona 8 just chimed in my chat. He said, you guys feel like a recession might be coming. Like, what do? You just got to keep fucking going to work, dude.
You got
is
to
what
keep
you got to
moving,
do,
bro.
dude. Yeah, dude. Like there is no like waiting and just trying to figure all of this stuff out. There's always going to be something, bro. There will always, always, always be something. Like I was never more like frightened or nervous than I was like during COVID. That was the time, like right after COVID happened, when I was the most kind of like, oh my God, the world shut down. And look what happened on the backside of that, dude. Like, so nothing that we're dealing with right now. I'm not saying be reckless or irresponsible, but you have to keep moving forward. I don't think that you can just stop what you're doing, dude. So there's opportunities out there for people that are willing to go do the work for them.
I just don't see any type of market correction coming, which is the craziest thing. Because Sam Zell sold off his portfolio in 2019 and called top.
Yeah.
Like the best real estate investor in the world called top in 2019, saying, hey, this has got to end. And then I don't see real estate prices going down whatsoever. They've stagnated, but they haven't really gone back besides like Utah. Utah's the only market I know because it had such a massive run and the affordability is so bad that it's like come down 10, 20%. I'd say Fresno has not come down whatsoever. I don't think anything in really California has. None of my California friends are hurting as far as like the real estate market. And I don't see anything forcing it to go down sort of like a random black swan event.
We need houses. The houses have to come from somewhere. So when somebody can explain to me where the supply is going to come from, I'm totally open to the idea of prices going down. When you look at all of this on a chart and you zoom out, like there's a nature of this being cyclical. And we've been riding a wave that's upward trajectory for a long time. I tend to agree with you. I mean, I don't see it, but I would love for somebody to either jump on this pod or send me a thesis on like where the houses and the supply is going to come from. And then the other thing everybody needs to pay attention to and remember is this is all market specific, dude. Like what's happening in Florida is different than what's happening in Texas. It's different than what's happening in the Midwest. And it's different than what's happening in Central California where we buy houses, dude. And even in California, you go up and down the state and the markets are completely different, dude. So like, all of this stuff take with a very, very big grain of salt.
Yeah, that's what I was going to add to it is that I think that there's some places in the country right now where the price points are just getting crushed. You're talking over $2 million in most of the major markets I've been hearing are kind of crickets. It's really tough right now. And so for us, and I'll speak for myself, I like to be at and below the median price point. And I think that's the safest place to be. That's what I coach on. That's what I teach everybody is like, you want to be at and below the median price point. You can make money in the luxury market. You can make money in big price points, but you're the most exposed because if there's any sort of shift in the market, that's the first to go. So for me, I think I'm seeing stability in the market I'm in Central California. There's other markets that are really stable, but some of the markets in major cities are feeling it a lot more right now.
Yeah, I'd say stay away from Florida because insurance rates have made it unaffordable, is what we found.
Which is crazy to hear.
Insurance rates have like been
Florida's
insane,
been
and that
town.
is what caused it.
Yeah,
because Florida was, but like Utah, it went like this. It was going to the moon, And
Yeah.
then the hurricanes happened. The insurance company was like, hey, bro, we got to do this. We have multiple condos coming in every week. We tell them, like, you give it to us or we're not doing the deal.
Yeah,
because nobody wants to live in the condo. The HOA's through the roof. And then their insurance is that. You could have a paid off condo and you still have $2,000, $3,000 in monthly cost with that thing.
Dude, the craziest thing, Florida booming because of political views and access for business and all these things for taxes. Boomtown, but then you have hurricanes come in. Mother Nature's like, nope, we're going to put a pause on that, and just blows up the real estate market. And now insurance is a disaster.
Yeah, I can't imagine being a syndicator out there, bro. Jesus Christ.
If you look
J.
at a hyper
Corona
local
8.
market, go ahead.
I was going to say, J. Corona 8 asks, have you guys seen an increase in foreclosures? And this is like a good secondary question. I don't know if you guys have heard this, but I heard Trump is supposedly ending some type of Biden era carryover thing where a lot of people that were going through mortgages that were federally backed, like Fannie Freddie stuff, where they were getting some type of support. And now that is supposedly going away, which supposedly that's going to increase a lot of potential foreclosure inventory. I haven't personally seen, and we look at this pretty close, like I haven't seen a big, at least in our market, a big increase in foreclosure. They're there, but it's a trickle. It's definitely not like a steady stream or like this flow of stuff. So I haven't seen anything in our area, not yet anyways.
No, like PBD posted something the other day and it was like a false chart about like the rise in foreclosures overall in the country. And it was correlated to something else. I haven't seen it anywhere. And we try and pull public record data a lot and like see like, are we getting a lot from this courthouse? And are we getting like more leads? We aren't getting more leads.
Same.
But bro, you're right. This shirt just makes me look fucking great. Like these ones are the ones.
You do the shirt.
Bro, these ones are the fucking ones, bro. Like, oh man.
We need that one without the hood. That's the only thing that Dean and I were saying. Without the hood in the back, just a regular.
It pulls up the neck part in the front. So if we gotta go on the website and see if they got them. But dude, look at the peak on the biceps, dude. The peak on the biceps is just
like unnatural. The peak on the bicep is like
that dude's on something for sure.
He's a Lulu designer who did this. They knew what they were doing, bro.
They knew what they were doing, bro. Yeah. If you guys want merch, hit us up. If you want to look great and have your biceps look great, hit us up. You can get some nice Deal Champs hoodies.
I love it.
All right. The next thing, and we may have one more thing after this, Jason, and we'll all talk about this really. How did you get into the 8-figure development deal? And we'll talk about just getting into bigger deals overall, because everything is like a progression. I wouldn't say someone's just going to hop off the street, especially in commercial real estate. It's a pay to play and give up equity with someone else. And it's the game you're playing, a lot of money out. But even for the commercial stuff that we've done, I needed to like give up equity so I could know what to do. And like, there's just not anybody. You can't go pay a coach to get into it. You got to pay a coach and get equity and have someone who knows how to do it, or else you're just going to lose your ass.
Before you get into that, Jason, I can't believe I just ate an entire steak and sweet potatoes and sauteed onions without you guys saying one thing. Not one comment.
Was that your first meal of the day? God, you inhaled that.
Dude,
I was going to ask, what the hell are you eating over there, bro?
Dude, it was so good.
You hit it well between the mutes and like not hearing you chew on the
knife in here, just ripping this thing in pieces, dude. I was going in and I told my wife, I'm like, dude, I haven't had a chance to eat today. I had breakfast, but I haven't had a chance to have my lunch. Maybe after the pod. She's like, you want me to make you the steak? I said, yes, I do. She brought it in and I just took it down. You guys didn't say a word.
I love it.
Where'd the steak come from, Dean?
Oh, it came from a cow that was loved and ate grass like a cow should. Grass raised, grass finished in a field, green field of green grass. And came from Primal Pastures. Shout out to Farmer Rob, my buddy who owns Primal Pastures.
I love it.
Yep.
I love it. All right, so back to it after Health Master Dean, new nickname, came up with
sponsored.
Master Dean.
That segment was sponsored by Primal Pastures. That was
I gotta get an affiliate link with them, dude.
Jason, what did it look like to hop into that deal? And I'd say what gave you the confidence overall to do it?
Because, dude, that was an overnight call.
Literally, like within weeks, dude. It wasn't on the radar, and then a few weeks later, we owned this property, and we're like full steam ahead, dude.
And now
And
you're a land
so
developer.
yeah, dude. It's funny. We were connecting with a bunch of the guys from out here. We hadn't got this group together for a long time, but on Friday we all got connected in Visalia, and it was Armando and Zed and all these guys that we know out here that we've had a networking group that hadn't gotten together, and we ended up getting together Friday. And somebody asked me that same question, and so I was thinking about it, and my response to that thing is, how does this happen? And you guys know that I'm a big mindset guy, and so like I'm a big believer in the version of you has to change before an opportunity like that comes up, dude. And I think like the older version of Jason has to evolve into a space where I can not only like manage and run and handle all the things that are happening with like my core business, but also open enough bandwidth to be able to like see that opportunity, underwrite it, analyze all the challenges, and make a very quick yes or no decision there. And so like all the work that I had been doing, honestly, for like the last 3 years, investing into coaching, investing into my team, like reinvesting into all these systems, I had to do all those things first. And I'm a big believer that if like all that stuff hadn't happened, I don't think that opportunity comes, or the opportunity comes and I say no to it because I'm not in a space to say like where I'm ready. Do you know what I'm saying? And I think that probably happens more often than people realize, that there are these things that are potentially life-changing opportunities that do happen to come across your plate in one way or another, but we're so bogged down in whatever it is that we're doing in that moment, we're not ready to say yes to that, dude. You know what I mean? And so I think, where did it come from? Like, and I know this isn't the answer that a lot of people are looking for, that like it came from me working really hard to get ready to break through to the next level. And once I became the person that was ready to break through to the next level, then I was in a space where I had a clear mind and head, where I could see the opportunity, make a decision, and then go. And that's
bullshit,
how
bro.
it happened to me, bro.
He worked hard and it fucking happened. I call bullshit. Must be nice.
How does it? You tell me how it happens.
Hey,
You let
they
me
say
know.
luck happens when preparation and opportunity meet, right? The people who keep getting lucky and they get luckier and luckier are just the people who are more prepared, putting in the work, and then the opportunity comes and there you go. I mean, it seems too simple, but most people aren't putting in the work. They're not leveling themselves up, right? I like to say this to people who I talk about coaching with. I'm like, the cheesiest quote I could possibly use is from Warren Buffett, but Warren Buffett says the best investment you can make is in yourself.
Yeah.
And most people aren't willing to make the investment in themselves. When I first got started, I told myself two things. I told myself I didn't have enough money to invest in myself. And I told myself, dude, I was an ex-NFL player. I'm supposed to have this all figured out. I'm supposed to be rich and have this money. I can't go ask for help. It's going to make me look weak. It's going to make me look lesser. All I did was hold myself back. And the minute I finally got my ass kicked enough to then raise my hand and say, I need help, that's when better stuff started happening. I started getting the right information. I started doing the right type of things over and over. I started investing in myself and leveling my knowledge, my skills with the support and help of other people. And I just started getting better results. So it's no surprise the way you laid it out there, Jason, that you've been putting in the work to level yourself up. You've been putting in deep work there. And then you've been investing in your team, leveling them up to be in the position. And now you're in the position where you can spend your time.
We always talk about the relationships, dude. So like at a surface level, you've heard me tell this story. It's like, oh, I got this call from a broker that I know, like blah, 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 blah. Dude, I met that broker 3 years ago. So, and I've been nurturing that relationship for 3 years, dude. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's like, did I just get a call out of the blue? Like, yeah, at a surface level, yes, I got a call out of the blue, and then it all kind of worked out the way it was supposed to work out. But like without meeting that person 3 years ago and nurturing that relationship, without spending the money to build the team out, so then that way I don't have to be dealing with all the stuff that I need to do, without raising all the capital that I've been doing for 11 years from my private money lenders to be able to build a track record where I can go and ask for $1 million+ in a couple weeks on a deal that you know what I'm saying? And get the trust to do that. Like that's all stuff that I've been doing, dude. You know what I'm saying? And so it's all a culmination of like, you guys have probably had this too, I'm sure. There's been like 2 or 3 times this is happening to us right now where we've made what feels like a quantum leap in our business, dude, where things start going like very fast, very, very quickly. And then all of a sudden, a year or 2 years go by and you're like, shit, what the hell just happened right now, dude? And so it's like you do all of that work like in the trenches for 2, 3, 4, 5 years at a time. And then this like one opportunity to have a quantum leap happens. And when you're smart enough, you execute, and we got a long way to go with this, dude. So like, I'm not like anywhere close to home stretch. We're a long way before we touch any of this money, but like,
years
just to be able to put yourself in this opportunity, dude. Like, and Dean, I was telling you, dude, I'm like more excited and energized than I've been in a really long time, dude. And that feels really good, dude. Like like flipping and wholesaling, like that's fun and it's all good, but it's not like this type of stuff that's like cool and brand new and feels like, man, this could be something really, really big.
I think it's the awareness and like you're finally, because you saw the cap of what you were doing and you had the awareness, like, I want to create that next big thing like we were talking about yesterday. Like, what is the next 10 years going to look like? Like, do I want to keep doing this? And like you prepped your mind. And then I think the biggest thing is bandwidth. With no bandwidth, it would have never been possible. Like team wise, like I think about when I've done my best, I've cut down the bandwidth. When we grew the Call Magicians, I passed off all of our leads to Dean so I could focus. And then we blew that thing up overnight. Right. So it's the bandwidth of being able to handle it. But I think the awareness of I want something more. I'm looking for a vehicle that's going to get me there. And it's like a significantly larger jump. It's not like I want something more. Like this is a 8-figure a year more. I need that, and the universe delivered it, in my opinion.
It's trusting, bro. It's trusting even without knowing exactly what's that thing that's more. What's the thing that's going to like set the table for the next 10 years? I had no idea. Like I had a vision for like, hey, I wanted to do something bigger real estate wise. Like you guys I would drive by these big apartment developments or home developments and be like, why not me? Why can't I do this? And like I feel like this is what I want to do, but there was no clear path on how we could go from wholesaling and flipping houses to get over here. And so it requires a lot of trust, a lot of patience, and a lot of willingness just to show up every day without even knowing like, hey, I don't know what this end result's going to be, but I'm just going to continue to show up, work my face off every single day, dude. And I know that good things will happen because I've been having good things happen to me for 10 years when I apply that formula, dude. So let's just do that. And most people cannot do that, bro. Most people, unless they know, like, here's what's in it for me at the end, this is the only way that I'm going to commit to doing it. And I'm going to tell you, it doesn't fucking ever work like that. At least it hasn't worked like that for me, dude. Like you got to have an idea, but you've just got to show up and then things will manifest the way that they're supposed to.
So I think a lot of people struggle with, I can speak for myself. There was, when I was first getting started, there was a period of time, like a 6-month window where I was chasing some shiny objects and it really took me off course. I had to like shake myself after 6 months of doing these shiny objects to come back and get refocused again. How did you, Jason, for this project specifically, and then maybe we can make it more broad to how can people make sure to avoid shiny objects? How did you know that this wasn't a shiny object that was going to distract you? Oh, now we got this land development deal, right? We got Airbnbs, we got this strategy, we got all these different distractions. How did you know this wasn't a distraction and a real opportunity you should go 100% into both feet when you had never done it before?
Damn, it's a really good question. There is not an easy answer for it. So these are the things that are just floating around in my head right now. I always knew that I wanted to do something big, and this felt really big, dude. So I was like, okay, so it checks that box there. After we started doing the initial due diligence, I felt a really good sense of confidence. Not good, like I felt a ton of confidence both in the partner and in the mechanics of the deal. So even though I have not been a land developer, we've never done this before, like when we looked at everything, I was like, dude, this deal makes sense. And it doesn't only just make sense, this is a fucking grand slam, dude. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, as long as like this thing pencils out, and even if it goes sideways, we still have so much margin in here that we're still going to do incredible on this deal. So it mitigated a lot of our risk, right? And the last thing, dude, and this is another thing that I've built a lot over time, and I'm sure all of us have this, is like we all have like an instinct and a sixth sense when it comes to this type of stuff, dude. And every time I've deviated from that sixth sense, it's always come back and bit me in the ass 100% of the time, dude. And
Yeah.
I always say that business is, there's a science and then there's an art to it. The science is the underwriting and the analysis and the due diligence and making sure everything on the spreadsheet and the performa makes sense and market analysis. But the art is, to me, that sixth sense, dude. And I have just learned to trust in that. And when it gives me a really good feeling and all those other boxes that I started with are checked off and you layer that on top, I was like, it's a go, dude. And like worst case scenario for me, I've got to make my lenders whole on this. I got to come up with $1 million to make my lenders whole. And I could do that. So it's like, even if it goes to complete like hell and it just, everything hits the fan, I can liquidate what I need to liquidate. It would not wreck me at all. I mean, I wouldn't be happy, but business would still be going. I could pay everybody off and I could look myself in the mirror and say, at least I tried this, dude. And so that was like, there isn't like a simple model or anything, but that was what I was going through in my head, dude. And that's why we said yes to it.
I think, Dean, for me, I feel like out of the three of us, I've been the king of shiny objects over the years. For me, it's been growing as an entrepreneur and knowing what it takes to actually make something successful. And then like, am I willing to commit to this for 10 years? Or with us, like, all right, do I have a clear timeline? Do I have a clear bandwidth with it? And do I know what it's going to look like? And how is this going to fit in? Instead of like chasing something because you're a little bit unhappy with it, to where now like we have Deal Champ stuff, we have a real estate company, I have one other thing. And that thing is going to be the thing that I commit most of my bandwidth over the next 10 years. And I'm committed to it. To like when I met Josh Snow, and when Josh made his first million, like 19 years old, and his biggest thing when he started Snow, he was like, I want something to where it adds up. If I take 1% of the total market, I make $1 billion. And I have to be able to do this for the next 10 to 15 years. So I can lock in that entrepreneur that we all are, that will bam, 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 we can do this, we can do that, we can do that. And he can stay focused and know that like the dream is actually the dream and it's going to hit all those boxes that you want to fulfill. Because I think you start to question the dream when you chase shiny objects. You wonder if the vehicle you're in is actually going to fill what we're going for. And as you grow as an entrepreneur, you just learn what you're going for and what that looks like. That's just me.
I'm pretty much saying almost immediate no to anything that's not real estate related to avoid like the Amazon stores and like all of that. You know what I'm saying? Like at this point, like if it's not in my wheelhouse, which real estate is my wheelhouse, like I'm almost saying no. So that was the other thing, dude. And Strat brought up the bandwidth piece. I was like, can we, because this is going to require a lot of my attention and energy. Is that going to negatively impact like our core business? Because I still got to pay my bills, bro. Like I got to pay my bills. I got to cover my mortgage. I got to do all this stuff. And I could honestly look myself in the mirror and feel confident that like that 2 or 3 years of work that we did building out the team, like allowed the business to continue to run, right? Without like totally derailing. With me moving over to this, it doesn't derail the main thing that we're doing. Because the main thing's got to be the main thing, dude, for a little while here, man.
Yeah, I can say with confidence that for me, there's been shiny objects along the journey. The most recent ones were when anything you touch was exciting, new, opportunity. You could make a bunch of money. That was back in 2020, 21. And the Amazon stores, the Walmart stores, those got me. Definitely spent a lot of money on those. And it just opened me up to realize that you don't need to be chasing shiny objects. There's no reason to be doing that. If you're already good at something, then just be focused on that.
Yeah, I think with Jason, he knew what the end goal was and what the vision was, and he was just looking for the vehicle in his own wheelhouse, is in my opinion.
Yep.
Like you got to kind of like check those boxes of what do I really, really want? Am I okay at making like $1 million a year, or am I going for a bigger swing to where I feel satisfied? I feel like I can put myself in the rooms where I want to be in from an, like, we're all men, and like an ego standpoint is like the biggest thing for me. All right, boys.
It also makes sense to me that like we're short on houses in California, bro. And when I sat down and talked with the builders and I listened to their business plan, and like this is all kind of coming to my head right now, dude. Like when we really looked at and created a thesis for like, what's this, if this is going to be the thing that we're going to do for the next 10 years, like, is this something that actually makes sense? And in talking to the builders and everybody here that are putting the big money into this part of the state, dude, like, I mean, if it's good enough for these multi-billion-dollar companies, dude, like, let's just like, they have all of the smartest people in there doing all the analytics, bro. So obviously they see something there and it makes sense, right? And so you layer all of that stuff on as you go, and it just gives you the initial positive affirmation that you're making the right decision. And now it's go time, dude.
Don't chase shiny objects. Find the vehicle, run with the vehicle. I think a lot of people would be fixed from shiny objects if they absolutely identified where they wanted to be and really sat down and said, is this what's going to get me there? Like, just wholeheartedly. Right. All right, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Do not forget to hit like and subscribe. We'll talk to you guys next week. Peace.
Peace.